Moving on, question number 4 comes in from Stella. Hi there, Stella. Thank you for being part of the amazing WiggyWam community and for submitting your question. So Stella asks, is it safe to rent a property off Facebook Marketplace? I don't use it myself, but my daughter is looking to rent a flat. She said there are loads on there and they are much less rent than those advertised on other sites in the same area. I'm concerned because I've read stories of people being scammed where the scammer rents an Airbnb property for a few days, then shows people around and takes a deposit, then disappears. I can't imagine Facebook carry out any checks on the people posting on there to ensure they are who they claim to be. All right, Sally, well, thank you for your question. In my humble opinion, I think perfectly valid to have some of those concerns. And I do believe, if I was in a similar position, I would definitely be treading very carefully based on the sort of horror stories that you've mentioned and that I've also read about. Essentially, what I think some of these scammers do, exactly as you say, they rent the property for a short period under Airbnb or whatever it might be. And then you or 2 or 3 others or maybe more will turn up and they'll, say, yeah, if you want this property because we're advertising it so cheaply, it's going to rent today, give me a deposit, you give them some cash, they clear off and you're never going to see them again. It's very unethical, obviously, and it's certainly not something you want to get yourself caught up in. But I would, tread incredibly carefully here. And I'm not saying, that you can't trust Facebook Marketplace. That's not what I'm saying. It's the actual people that are advertising these properties on there. And are they the real deal? So what I'm going to suggest is if it's an agent that's put the property on the site there, actually go and have a chat with them, go and meet them. Hopefully they've got a high street office or something of that nature where you can actually go and meet them, talk to them, make sure that their business is legitimate, that they've been around for a while. And this is just another string to their bow in terms of exposing properties to a wider marketplace rather than putting them on the traditional portals. But I would also do a little bit more digging. Go to the property if you are really tempted because it looks like a really good deal. Go there and have your absolute wits about you. Talk to the owner, suss them out, ask them, should we say, probing questions. How long have you owned the property for? Blah, blah, blah. When was the last time you rented it out? Just trying to dig deeper. Have they got a copy of the gas safety certificate, for example? That's a good one to ask. Can you show me a copy of the EPC? Can you show me a copy of the tenancy agreement? All of that information, if they're a reliable landlord or an agency that's advertising it on behalf of a landlord, that information should be readily available. And if it's not, and if the owner starts stuttering or the alleged owner starts stuttering and starts to look as though they've got something to hide, it would be well advised to walk away. One of the things you can do, Stella, which might be a bit extreme, but it could save you, falling foul of one of these scams, is that you can go to Land Registry as a site, and for I think it's about £4 now, you can download a copy of the title deeds for the property in question. So let's say, for example, you found a property on there that you like the look of, you might have a little bit of concern. Just to put all that doubt out of your mind, grab a copy of the title deeds, then go and see the property with the title deeds in your back pocket and talk to the person that's showing you around. If it's the alleged owner, ask them their name. Does that name correspond with the name that's on the title deeds? If it doesn't, obviously you're going to start digging a little bit deeper and saying, well, okay, so the title deeds are in the name of so-and-so. And watch their reaction. Are they going to start to get very defensive? Are they going to start stuttering and making up some cock and bull story about it? Oh, it's a friend of a friend who's helping me out and blah, blah, blah. What is it going to be? I don't know. But the point is, if they're getting flustered and they're starting to think on their feet, and because you've caught them out, walk away. And it's better to have lost £4 than it is to lose 500 plus on a total scam. Which it could be, especially if they're taking a month's rent and your deposit up front of 5 weeks or whatever it might be. So yeah, something to be very, very cautious of here, Stella. Interestingly, I will tell you a little story that happened to us, and this is probably going back about 6-7 months ago now, before we moved into the property that we're in right now. We were actually looking around for a rental property, and I was just looking everywhere, just using my sort of property investor experience to look everywhere to try and find the right property for us. And we found a place on I think it was Gumtree at the time, and it was one of these that had it was clearly somebody trying to do something private on Gumtree. And I thought, well, let's go and check it out, because we're pretty desperate. There's not a lot on the rental market at the moment, so we went to turn up to see this house in a really nice area. And not that I want to judge here, Stella, so I hope you'll get what I'm saying here. But when we turned up to view, there was a couple walking down the drive, and he had got all sorts of tattoos all over his face, and didn't look like the kind of person I'd want to bump into in a dark alley on a rainy night. You know what I mean? And anyway, we sort of got there, started chatting, and she actually said to us, "You guys are a bit of a breath of fresh air." And I said, "Oh, what do you mean, if you don't mind me asking?" And she said, "You would not believe some of the people that we've had in to look at this property." And what had happened is the agent that was handling it was actually from out of the area and was helping her friend rent out the property and find the right sort of tenant. And what they'd had in these sort of situations was people turning up, like the friend I've just mentioned, who was offering 12 months rent up front in cash, as long as they didn't go around the property ever and check it out. So you can probably guess what they were going to use the property for. Some kind of horticultural activity, if you need a bit of a clue as to what was actually going on there. But this sort of thing was apparently becoming more and more commonplace, particularly with private adverts, is that you get people turning up and they hand over a big bag of cash and they say, you don't turn up to this property until we've left. So have to tread a little bit carefully in these sorts of environments. That one ultimately wasn't for us. Unfortunately, we found another property through an agent in town, but it's not. I'm not adverse to exploring these other avenues, whether that's eBay or, as I say, Gumtree, or I haven't tried Facebook Marketplace personally, because when we searched there, they didn't have anything in their area. But I would certainly tread carefully, and I'd want to go with my gut feel as to whether or not I thought this somebody was trying to pull a scam on me. If they're not asking for references, if they're not asking for the sort of background checks that ordinarily a landlord or an agent would be asking for, then I'd be very tempted to walk away, Stella. So don't let the idea of missing out on a deal that's too good to be true get in the way of actually keeping your hands on your hard-earned cash. I think that's probably the summary I'll leave you with, Stella. But I hope that helps. Let me know if there's anything else we can do to help and support you. And I wish you all the best of luck in finding your daughter a lovely property to live in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you here again this week. Thank you so much indeed for your questions. As I said earlier on, if you want to submit your questions to us, there's various ways you can get in contact with us. The first is via email. You can send your questions in to us via our email address, which is happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. That's happytohelp@wiggywam.co.uk. You can also submit questions via our website, which is wiggyWam.co.uk. That's wiggyWam.co.uk. Set up your free profile on there. Join the amazing WiggyWam community. Get involved. There's all sorts of resources on there, videos that we've produced in terms of taking you through the journey of buying and selling a property, and a whole bunch of other really exciting resources on there. So get involved on the website. Make sure you sign up there. You can also submit questions via the Twitter account, which is at WiggyWam_UK. That's at WiggyWam_UK. And we'll be back same time next week doing this once again. Very much looking forward to seeing you all again. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be of service to you. And if you haven't yet got your copy of Home Buyer Secrets, I'm going to encourage you to do that, because I think this spring market is going to be pretty intense in a lot of different ways, and you definitely need to know some of the insider secrets that we're sharing in this book. So go to homebuyersecrets.co.uk and grab yourself a copy of that book. You'll also get part of access to our full training video series, which will actually guide you through in greater detail than I can go into in the book, through the process of buying and selling a property, which will be fantastic. So if there's anything else that we can do to serve you guys, please do let us know. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again, same time, same place next week, and have an amazing week. Lots of love, God bless, and see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.